I would request our keynote speaker, Mr. Karthik Padmanabhan, who's the Developer Relations of Google India, to please come up on the stage and enlighten us with his words of experience. Sir, the stage is yours.
Good morning. First of all, thank you very much for choosing to attend the DevFest Pune. I know it's you have a lot of options today, but you chose to be here, so thank you very much. Please give yourself a big round of applause for that. How many of you are choosing to be an AI developer? Nice. Rest of you obviously are not that keen, I guess, but nevertheless, before we get into what we want to share with you today, I just want to set the context for the day, right? So the context is that everybody around, if you go get into the IT segment or anywhere you go, there's a lot of buzz, a lot of curiosity, a lot of interest around artificial intelligence. There are a lot of things that's happening, right? So any particular reason why that's happening? Anybody wants to take a shot at it? Why is so much buzz, so much talk about artificial intelligence? Yeah, go ahead.
I think mainly all the AI models and things like that are the things that has created like the buzz for the AI. Like it started with the 2017 paper of Transformers, and now like there we have passed so many things. Like we are at another level in AI models as well. So I think that's the reason why that there is a AI buzz, and plus it is good for branding as well.
Yeah, so as you know, thank you for a great answer. So as you know that artificial intelligence has been there for more than a decade, right? So ever since probably I got into the industry, I've been hearing of artificial intelligence, and we've had every shape and form of artificial intelligence. But why is that over the last 18 to 24 months, there's so much of curiosity, so much of hype, so much of use cases coming up? So what's the inflection point?
Budgets. Now AI can be used in daily life. That's where everyone is experiencing the difference which it makes to our life.
Okay, so the answer, what I was looking for, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, go ahead.
I guess it is more because people know the potential of impact that it can create like in upcoming decades and all. That's why people are more invested and like interested in this thing.
Yeah, good.
Sorry, I was sitting at the very extreme, and I wanted to um, share my opinion on this. I think if we look back to our history, the invention of GPUs, and then this as technology spread it everywhere, we have lots of amounts of petabytes of data getting produced each and every day. And it's not humanly possible for us to actually work with that data. It's very laborious, and we cannot get where with that. I mean, with the help of AI, and we can, of course, get through it, and we can manage it much more, in a very better way. And I think the GPUs and everything, and we have excelled in our hardwares, and we have so much amount of data that we started finally doing something with it, which is giving us so many results and so much of potential through it. I think that is the reason the buzz is going on. And of course, the OpenAI, ChatGPT, and all their researches and everything which resulted in these kinds of products, now we are finally taking a look at it, this is something actually great. Like we are now able to process all that data, and we are having this kinds of results. So That's what I think.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
This
I
side.
just, I wanted to add my 2 cents because it's so much of buzzwords. Because one example is my 8-year-old kid is now interacting with ChatGPT, asking his own questions, and the contextual response that he gets, he's able to understand it. So the ease of accessibility to the information that one is looking for and solving these problems is really like amazing.
Okay, so computing has been there for the last 4 or 5 decades, right? So what's the difference between computing that happened in 1960s and 1970s to what is happening now? Artificial intelligence, algorithms were there ever since mathematics was invented. Why is it getting so much traction now?
So I think the artificial intelligence is more looking towards advanced systems
Yes,
which
sir,
are
that-
upgraded.
But what I'm trying to say is that what is changing? Like what was there in 1960s, 1970s, what's happening now in 2020?
So computing power, artificial intelligence gives us cost optimizations and
So what does
analyze
AI
data.
need? What does the algorithms need?
Data. Data and
So algorithms
proper
need data, and second thing, what they need? Computing power.
computing power.
So 20 years, 30 years back, you didn't have, users were not generating so much data. Now every time, every step you take, you're generating data. All of you are generating data. We are generating data here, right? And because of the interconnectedness, this data is getting accumulated. So you're getting terabytes of data. And then to process this data, you have huge TPUs, tensor processing units are available centrally. So that that information which gets processed can go anywhere on this planet, right? So that is the difference that's happening, and that's how AI has become what it is today. It was always there, but then the infrastructure surrounding AI just took off. Cloud computing has gone into the next level. Because we are all in an interconnected world, we are all generating so much data. And because there's so much of advancements that's happening on processing units, all this, with the algorithms out there, you're able to basically get some insights out of this data, right? So that's what has changed now, and that's why it has become what it is. And it's only going to keep going up exponentially because everything what I just said is just going to grow up. The TensorFlow processing units is going up, your data is becoming even more curated, even more data is going to come, even more curated. So ultimately, the end outcome, what you get from the algorithms is going to be much more accurate, much more predictable, much more impactful, right? So that's the world we are all moving into, or we already moved into, right? So let me, before I get into that, so how many of you have been using internet from when? Sorry, how many of you have been using internet from what time? (2014) How many of you have been using internet before 2010? How many of you have been using internet before 2005? 2005, sorry. So what's the difference between the internet in 2005 and the internet now? Sorry?
From GPRS to 5G.
No, but that's the technical terms. In terms of your life. So how has your life changed? So people are using internet in 2005 and people are using internet now. How is their life changed? Yeah. That's all technical terms, sir. In terms of experience, I'm saying.
We are accessing
So
the
2005,
internet.
what applications did you use on internet?
I have not used in 2005, but I have used in 2007-8.
7, 8, what were you using?
Internet Explorer, and then Google.
No,
mostly.
but for what?
For searching, mostly the search.
Mostly for?
Searching. It is like when we were learning the .NET development or the development, so we were using at that time to learn.
So it was
how
like
to
a toy.
Yeah.
Today it's a beast. You can't live without it, right? So what I'm trying to say is that because it's a beast, you can't live without it. Your life is around, you're just connected. You're part of this connected world, right? So point what I'm trying to say is that, so now can you look around in India? What's the population of India? How many of us are on the internet out of this 1.4 billion? So let's take hypothetically, we'll be around 1 billion very soon, right? So what's the digital public infrastructure that's keeping this 1 billion people together? What is the digital public infrastructure that is keeping this 1 billion people together? Yeah, internet, cloud and all is fine, but what is it? How do you know the identity of you? How do I know you? Huh? SIM card. SIM card, I'll know you. क्या बात करता है यार? How do I know you? Boss, are you all living in India or are you all already in Mountain View, San Francisco? Where do you live? Huh? Aadhaar card.
Social media.
Boss, sab, I think all of you are hungover or something. Huh?
We know each other
थोड़ा
via
ज़्यादा
social
दारू हो गया कल रात को. Boss, Aadhaar card यार. A simple answer hai. How do I know you is through your Aadhaar card, na? And what does the Aadhaar card have? What personal data, boss? ऊपर मत बात करो. Specific बोलो. हाँ? हाँ? हाँ. वो क्या होता है? आपा. बॉस थोड़ा डिटेल पे बात करिए. Fingerprints, all that, right? So that is the unique thing, right? So you can have the same name, but you can't have the retina and all that biometric data like fingerprints, which has to be unique, right? So now this 1 billion people's unique information is, where is it all available? On the digital public infrastructure called the Aadhaar cloud, correct? And how has that helped India? And how has that helped the citizens? No, first, how did it help? And what was the use case out of that? Identify person ke baad kya hua? When was Aadhaar introduced? Huh? 2000? Yeah. 2009, 2010. So because of that, what happened? Sorry?
Just by using my thumb. So anywhere I go, I just give my thumb and they identify.
So one of the
them as
first things, because of Aadhaar, because of the Aadhaar KYC, e-KYC, how many of you know e-KYC? How many of you are doing business by trying to sell to any consumer? If you want to sell any product to any consumer, you need to do e-KYC to find out this person is genuine or not genuine. So you do the e-KYC, you do the access the API, you know this person is a genuine consumer. He's not a bot. He's a genuine consumer, right? So using that e-KYC facility, when did data become what it is today? The internet data, in which year did it become like that? 2016 when Jio launched, right? And how did Jio make internet available is through e-KYC. So you didn't have to go, so millions of people were getting mobile data, mobile SIMs through e-KYC process, and that's how this penetration happened. We had 400 million people using smartphones, that became 600 million. Now it became almost getting there to 1 billion. And through this, you're able to do banking, you're able to get insurance, you're able to get whatever you want to get subsidy, everything is happening. Then you have UPI, everything, like Digi Yatra. There's so many other infrastructure that's coming. So now imagine what happens at this scale when you apply LLMs, when you apply AI models. How is that going to transform people's lives? How is it going to transform your life? 1 billion people interconnected. and you have the LLM models being worked on this. So how is it going to change your lives? Your life. Sorry? Huh. Out there. Good morning. Any thoughts? Any ideas?
What kind of services are we looking for? What kind of facilities do we want? It will study all over that and then will help us making those services better.
See, first and foremost, it will become a very inclusive society, right? So 1 billion people are there on one platform across, and then using generative AI and large language models, you can make this entire society very inclusive. And because of this, what is essentially going to happen across is that you're going to get a lot of these services, a lot of basic services. You don't need to go for it. You'll start getting these services as and when you actually need, right? So there's a lot of things that's going to come thanks to this digital public infrastructure. I just wanted to spend a very brief time to give you a context of how artificial intelligence and language models are going to change the way people live in this part of the world. Okay, so welcome to the largest distributed gathering of developers worldwide. So I've been very proud and privileged to be associated with around 9 DevFests so far in Google. So I want to thank you all for making it. For how many of you this is the first ever DevFest? Wow. So I wish you all the very best for making sure that you make it an annual practice to keep attending DevFest. This is happening across the globe. I think more than 1 lakh plus people would be attending at this point in time, happening at various locations, various cities across the world. There are around 1,061 GDGs, and we have around close to 2 million members. And this is the chart of where the DevFests are happening across the world. So this year, DevFest turns 15. And we have, in India, we'll be hosting 50 plus DevFest across this part of the year. And this typically happens from September to December end. We complete all the 50 DevFest across 50 cities. So we have 70 plus Google developer groups. We have 700 plus Google developer student clubs, which is called the GDG on campus. We have 80 GDEs, and 197 startups are being accelerated now. Google's AI journey and announcements at Google for India. So this has been a great journey for us as far as AI is concerned ever since we launched Gemini over, I think, close to around 8-9 months back. And it's been an amazing journey. So we've been using AI products. So Google Lens is a product which has a lot of AI incorporated into it. We have Google Maps. Gmail is something which all of you have been using that has a lot of AI-powered features. It's been incorporated for some time now. So in 2015, TensorFlow was introduced. Then we had AlphaGo. Then we had the Transformer. Then we had AlphaFold. This has been the journey as far as AI is concerned with Google. And then in 2023, we had Palm 2, and now it's the Gemini era. So we are coming out of the next version of Gemini 2. So I'm sure that a lot of you are already starting to use it. And please continue to keep using it and start giving us more and more feedback so that the product can get better. Google's AI principles: be socially beneficial, avoid creating and reinforcing unfair bias. So all of you AI developers, you need to make sure that AI has to be applied for the betterment for humanity. So it should not actually become counterproductive where things start getting where people start getting affected in a negative way using AI, right? So you need to make sure that these are the 7 principles which drive Google AI. I would like you to be cognizant of that and start incorporating this in whatever form and shape you're trying to do when you're building an application or building a product or a service. So as far as announcements for Google for India is concerned, we announced the Google Gemini models on Google Cloud is making accessible for farmers in all one app, right? So this is an example I gave, so one of the examples I gave of how farmers can be benefited from generative AI. Any thoughts, any views on it? How farmers can be benefited from generative AI?
Hello.
Yeah.
Like we can predict the weather.
Sorry?
We can predict the weather.
Yeah. Yeah,
Then even the soil testing can be done, and they can, the Google can suggest which crop is suitable for this soil.
So all this has been there even 2-3 years back. But still the adoption rate with farmers is not there. But now how are things going to change?
Yes, hi. Here. This side.
Sorry?
So, yes, with generative AI, the farmers can actually be helped by, by taking a picture or anything of the crop. So the fertilizers or any pesticides that are needed or the nutrients that the crop need can also be.
So one of the things that's going to happen is something called digital agriculture is going to happen in India. So digital agriculture essentially means is that services and products will be reaching to the farmer right on their mobile phone. They'll get a notification of what it is, like the way you get notification as soon as you open your phone, right? Read that message, see that like, that like, whatever. So many actions come to you on your phone, but 90% of the time, this is all fun-related action. Maybe 10% of the time when you have serious business-related action, right? So for farmers who are not very social media savvy, when they're using smartphones, all these services will come. Like if they want to have a farm insurance product, they'll get there. If they want to get information about weather monitoring, a forecast of how the weather is, you'll get there. If you want to have a soil moisture level, it'll come to their phone because, so now, you know the entire farm records. So you all live in Maharashtra, right? So how many farmers are there in Maharashtra? Rough guess. What's the population of Maharashtra? Basics and all you'll not know. AI models and all algorithms, you'll fat. Huh? Are you sure? Google, yaar. Okay, let's say 12 crores. How many of them would be farmers? Roughly. %60. So now, let's say that they would be irrigating around 40-50% of the land mass in Maharashtra. The land mass of 40-50% of the land mass is being irrigated or being cultivated by these 60% farmers. So now, using technology, you can have all these land records now digitized. Every square inch of this using satellite imagery you can record. Okay, and then you can also geotag these saying who's owning what. And then based on satellite imagery, you'll be able to exactly know how much of the land is being cultivated. And using satellite imagery and generative AI, you'll know what crop is being there. And then you'll be able to track what kind of moisture level is there. So when you have all this information using all these cloud computing and all the satellite imagery, you'll be able to give information to the farmer right there on his doorstep what he needs to do week from now, 10 days from now. So he will get advisory on his phone saying, hey, your crop has got pests. Did you know that? Go take some action about it. Your soil moisture level is not good. Please irrigate your soil. Your crop is coming up for yield in 2 weeks from now. Get ready. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this world? It's all happening now. That's called digital agriculture. That's happening because all these farmers have Aadhaar. They're on this 1 billion super highway. Digital records are now, all the digital records with the government department, agriculture department took up are all being digitized, then superimposed with the satellite imagery, and then all that data becomes very rich. And using all cloud computing algorithms, all this data, you are able to ingest that data and come out with actionable feedback to the farmers. So all that is possible. So that's the great example of how using AI for good. How you're using AI for general good of humanity, right? If farmers are not productive, then what happens? You'll have famine. You'll not have food to eat. So it's always important that you have very productive farmers, and technology has to be used. AI is to be used for that. That's one example of that. Similarly, DPI in a box, we are working with Step Foundation on that. So we have Google offering Google for startups. Our mission is to empower startups to build and scale great products in companies with best of Google. It's people, network, research, and technology. So we have, over the years, we have accelerated a lot of startups. We have some of them are alumni, so we feel very good about this. If any of you are startups in the room, you can go ahead and apply for Google Cloud credits for startups. You can start with $2,000 and then go up to $350,000 depending on what you need. How many of you are still studying? Like all of us are studying, even I am studying at this stage, but I'm like formally studying. Yeah, formally studying in a college or a university, right? Yeah, so please consider taking care. If you have a student ID, you can apply for this India Solution Challenge 2025. It'll be coming up very shortly. It's an exciting way for you to really build a product, build a solution using generative AI and compete on a national level basis to make sure that your product gets recognized. So with that, thank you very much and have a great DevFest. See you all soon.